Watch this video, EFF South African Party addressing on matters about racism.
Viva, EFF, Viva! Viva! Down with racism, down! Down with racism, down! Down with imperialism, down! Down with imperialism, down! Thank you very much, Secretary General, the Treasurer General, Commissars, the Khoza family. I'm happy to be here today in solidarity with our brothers and sisters all over the world, more in particular in the imperialist USA, led by a murderer, Donald Trump. We are standing here in front of the offices of murderers who think they've got power to tell us how we should conduct ourselves. Even this morning, when we came in here peacefully and we wanted to kneel in front of the offices of these murderers, a white racist, a look-alike of Donald Trump, was trying to stop us from kneeling in our own country. That's how much arrogant they are. That's how white supremacists behave. They think they control how you breathe, how you walk, how you say things, and if it's not in line with what they want, they will now crush you. We want to say to all our brothers and sisters all over the world, we are with you. But the treatment of black people with dignity must start here in Africa, by us Africans treating each other with respect. We have a responsibility to teach the whole world that Africans and blacks in general are not subhuman. They are full human beings. And therefore, you cannot be behind Black Lives Matters and still see an opportunity to destroy another black person. Anyone who instructed the killing of black people in Marikana has got no leg to stand on when it comes to Black Lives Matters. Because a black life does not matter when it is a white person killing a black person. Even when a black person wears, the authorities kill another black person, the life of a black person still matters too. Therefore, Ramaphosa has got no leg to even pretend that he cares about the lives of black people. Those American police saw Ramaphosa instructing South African police to kill black people. Then they knew that if African authorities have got no regard for a black life, why should we respect it? When people are killed in Zimbabwe, in DRC, in Nigeria, by their own governments, when they stand up to protest, when they stand up to say, you can't be a president forever, they get killed for raising legitimate demands. And therefore, you are teaching the world that there is no value for a black life. You cannot kill people for telling the truth, because what should be respected at all times is the truth. It doesn't matter who says the truth. When you kill Zimbabweans, Mozambicans, Nigerians, Somalians here in South Africa and calling them Makwere and calling them all sorts of names, today you hold a placard and say Black Lives Matters. When you support the killing of your own fellow black brothers and sisters here in South Africa and have some useless hashtag on social media, put South Africa first. That is a narrow nationalism, because the problem of black people is not a problem of South Africa. A black man is hated everywhere, be it in China, be it in France, be it everywhere. You cannot say South Africa first. We must say black first and defend the black lives everywhere, including here in South Africa. Let us treat black life with respect and dignity. We will never be respected if we suffer from self-hate. Because the reality of the situation is that you don't respect yourself. Because if you loved this face, this black face, when you are about to burn a Zimbabwean and seeing the tears of a black African fellow crying for his or her life, you will see yourself and stop it immediately. It is not a problem of Zimbabwe. It is not a problem of Nigeria. It is a problem of self-hate. We must begin to love ourselves. Then we will never have a problem anyway. It cannot be correct that you want people to treat your family with respect, but you have no regard for your family. Every opportunity you get, you embarrass your wife in front of people. Every opportunity you get, instead of buying food, you buy alcohol. When you are drunk, go home and cause trouble in the family. Tomorrow, when neighbors have got no regard for your own family, you want to cry and say, this neighborhood has got no respect for my family. It is how you treated your family. So, charity begins at home. The hatred of a black skin must stop here in South Africa and all over Africa. I was listening to some nonsensical news of Botswana where they were saying, no, there is certain sectors of the economy which will be given to people of Botswana only. Instead of saying these sectors will be given to black Africans, because there is no Botswana, there is no Swaziland, there is no Lesotho. We are one family. They went to meet and took a decision to divide us and imposed borders on us because they are threatened by African unity. So we must not buy into the story of existence of Botswana, of Lesotho, because all these borders are an imagination. You come and say Black Lives Matter, but you support the border. You don't like imperialism, you don't like colonialism, but you support the border. The border was created by colonizers. The border was created by the imperialists. Yet you claim to be progressive and you stand up in the morning without land, without jobs, on a free data. South Africa first. A country without a name. South Africa belongs to the continent of Africa. We are nothing without this continent. We must liberate the continent economically so that all of us can exist without fighting for crumbs. Because if we don't get economic freedom, this fighting over small things will never stop. So we must get the land, we must get our minds, We must get our banks. We must get our insurance companies. We must have our own cars produced here in Africa. The cell phones, the toothpick must be produced here, because we are producing nothing here in South Africa. So the first thing first, for this white man who are stopping us from kneeling in our own country to respect us, this Majinglan of a white person, a mere security guard, by virtue of being white, he thinks he's superior than even parliamentarians. He thinks the color of his skin gives him more power, because he has got no regard for African black leadership. For him to respect us, we must own the land, so that when we walk in there, he knows the landlord has arrived, and the landlord you shall respect, because this is our land. But they know that we are landless. They know that we own nothing. They control the means of production, and no one respects people who do not own. Hence, the treatment of black people in USA. Can you imagine France marching and saying Black Lives Matter in France, where the reserve banks of other African countries are still being controlled from there? They are still flying every morning into some of the African countries, bread every morning, controlling the smallest opportunities, economic opportunities in those countries. Today, they want to stand with us and say to us, Black Lives Matter. We know in the EFF that Black Lives Matter, and it doesn't mean other lives do not matter. There is only one house burning, and we'll all pay attention to that house. It doesn't mean other houses are not important. They too are important, but this house is the one that is burning. So, when they killed Mr. Khoza in Alexander, the soldiers, we moved in, and we are telling you this story today reluctantly, because we never wanted to tell this story. Like many other stories that we execute in the EFF genuinely without making noise. We moved into the family. We said to them, here are the lawyers who are going to work with you to fight this government that killed a black man. We went to court. We won the cost of the funeral and medical cost. We are now proceeding to sue government. Leave that report of the military which says the soldiers are not at fault. It's friends trying to please each other. We will meet them in a neutral court of law. They will pay this widow, they will pay this family, they will pay the children, everyone who was hurt by the nonsensical act of the military will be paid. We have assembled the best legal minds in South Africa quietly to help this family. We have also buried Khoza ourselves. We paid for the mortuary. We removed the body from here to go and be buried at home. We were supporting this family. We are not with them today because there is a hashtag Black Lives Matter. In the EFF, since we were formed, Black Lives Matters every day. Where we see an injustice, we move in there. Someone was saying, why is the EFF going to picket about issues of America? What about Khoza? Free Wi-Fi. What's the problem? Limited information. We cannot be competing with fools who thrives on hashtag so and so must fall. And worse, those falling are black people in the main. There's never been a hashtag that said Rupert must fall. There's never been a hashtag that said the Oppenheimers must fall. They've never had a hashtag that says the Minel family must fall. All those who stole our minerals must fall. There is no such hashtag. Those who suffer from self-hate, every morning they target a black face. It must fall. This EFF is going to Pretoria. What about Kosaye? You are forcing us to tell you things that we don't want to talk about. Because when we help genuinely, we shouldn't even take pictures. We must help, and we must be satisfied with the fact that there is a family or a person who knows that they are people who are sympathetic and who are with us during these difficult times. Black people, the black unity is very important. They will only respect us if we have unity of purpose. It is not only whites in South Africa who are racist. The Indians too are racist and don't treat our people with respect. In the continent of Africa, it's not only whites and Indians, even the Chinese have moved into our country, into our continent. They want to be the new colonizers. They are even teaching our children their own language in our own continent, yet they do not learn our own languages if they want to come and trade in Africa. So they must know, Chinese, the Indians must know that the black unity will teach them how to respect fellow human beings. We don't want a world of white, of Chinese. We want a world of humanity where we coexist as human beings, not as female, not as male, not as black, not as white. Black Lives Matter. You're carrying a placard, you are doing a hashtag Black Lives Matter, but you just abused your own wife at home, yet you claim to be with a black life. That woman you are abusing is an African woman who goes through and goes through worse than what men are going through. 3 times than all of us. Because one, that person is a woman. 2, that person is a working class. They have no respect for working class. 3, that person is black. Because of these 3 things, they don't see the need to respect that person. If you respect Black Lives Matter, you are going to start with your own wife, with your own partner, with your own children that you have abandoned and you are not supporting. You are drowning in alcohol and becoming a blesser, yet your black children are hobos. Before you tell us Black Lives Matter, take care of your children so that there are few black African hobos on the streets of Pretoria. They can only be eliminated by self-love. The black life can't matter in America. It can't matter here before the offices of imperialism. But when you arrive at home, you have no regard for a black life. Black life matters everywhere. If you are a cashier in a shop and you are serving a black person, give that black person the same smile you give to white people. Show a true love. If you are a lawyer and you are representing a black life, do everything in your power to save that life. If you are a doctor, respect the black life Everywhere, black men, you find yourself serving and serving black people. Start serving them with respect. Start serving them with dignity. It starts with you. Let's not wait for some useless government to show love and respect to black people.